Good afternoon. My name is Lucero Cazares-Rodriguez. I am an elementary teacher at Cooper Elementary. I teach second grade dual language, and I will be the person conducting the webinar today. And we have Ms. Mary Catherine Martson as our moderator. She's the librarian at Couch Elementary. Please make sure to go ahead and say hi on the chat on the side so that we can go ahead and know that you're there, that you are watching. Our topic today and our focus is going to be on differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction is a very hot topic right now. It is how we can reach every child and have every child learn. Every child is different, therefore their learning is different. And we need to be able to reach the needs of all of our children. And to be able to do it with Seesaw is going to make your life so much easier, and it's going to be something very beneficial to you. This webinar is going to simplify the way you do differentiated instruction in your classroom. Our ISTE standard is standard number 1, empowered learner. 1C, students use technology to seek feedback that informs and improves their practice and to demonstrate their learning in a variety of ways. First, I'm going to go ahead now, and you're going to stop seeing my face, and I'm going to share my screen with you. And it is going to look a little funky at first, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not a miscue. It's not a technology issue anymore. I promise it is going to be just fine. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing our screens. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be Seesaw. You just go ahead and go to seesaw.com, and then you're going to go ahead and get this screen whenever you go to seesaw.com. And I'm going to click on I'm a teacher. Then it has you sign in. If you don't have an account, you could create an account. I have an account, and you could always create an account with Google. And that's how I created mine, is with Google, and we have our Google accounts through the school district. So that makes it nice and easy because it's all your same login information. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I created an account just for this webinar. And when you go in, you can go right there, and it says create a new class, which is what I did. And then you can add your students in, which I have 2 students. I have Bon and Spot, and you can always just add more. And all you have to do is put in the names there, like cat, dog, and then you just create more names. And it gives them an icon, which it makes it cute, and the kids just love having all the icons as their names and all the different animals. Once you have students in, you can also initiate work here. Like you can click the plus sign, and you can upload a file of something you want them to do or work on. But that's more the teacher side. What we want to go ahead and focus is on the student side of Seesaw today, and how to differentiate for our students. For your students to be able to log on to Seesaw, you got to click on student code, which is down here in the corner. You click on it, and it gives you the student code. You can click on print to print print it out for your class to have, or you can put it on the screen, and your students can use it from the screen. I personally have it printed out and have it in my classroom at all times for the students to be able to use it and be able to go from there. So I'm going to share with you my screen on my iPad, and that is how students get on there. They use it through the iPads, and this is, you download the app. It's called Seesaw Class, because Seesaw Family is the ones that the parents can use, and that's the ones that parents can go in and look at student work from. but this is going to go ahead and be just the student version. So I'm going to click on I'm a student. And like I said, they're going to have the code printed. So I have my code printed right here for our class. And see, it didn't even have to be all the way on there. It, the kids can click on it and they can put it over it, and they can go ahead and use it without really having to do so much with it. Um, I'm going to go ahead and stop right now and give you a few minutes and see if you have any questions about Seesaw so far or what I've done so far. I'm going to go ahead and allow some question time right now. I'm give it another minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and continue on showing how to do the different things within Seesaw. Okay, so seeing as that there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and begin showing you how to do some activities with Seesaw. Okay, all the students have to do to upload or use it is click this green arrow right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. And then they have a variety of things that they can do. They can have photos, videos, drawing, camera roll, note, and links. They could add files from their Google Drive and from all kinds of different places. But today I'm going to focus just on 3 ways you can differentiate instruction through Seesaw. There are many, 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 many ways, but we're just going to focus on 3 of them. The first one that I would like to show you is photo, because I feel like that's one of my favorite things to do. And I'm going to show you how we used it today in class. And my students were very successful with it. And it's very easy to differentiate through this one. And the kids kind of differentiate on their own on this, like what's better for them. They get to become more proactive in their learning styles and in what they take more ownership of their learning. Okay, so what we did is we're going to click on, I'm going to click on photo, and it just activates the camera on there. So if you don't have your camera activated on the iPad, it will make you activate the camera on the iPad and the microphone. And what they did is they went in and they take a picture, and I'm going to take a picture of my textbook. And the kids get so good at this. It tells them to hold the camera still, everything. And here it allows them to rotate it if they need to rotate it. And it allows them to do a lot of different features on here. And this is how you could differentiate right here. Right here, you have the record option, where if you have students who have trouble writing and spelling especially, you can click record, and then they could record what you want them to do. Like I have them use the same thing twice, because the first time they did this, they had to underline the context clues for the word, the highlighted word. So they had to highlight the context clues. But what if they have trouble with their hands and their gross motor skills? So instead, you can have them record. The context clue is, and then they can tell you what it is. Um, to have them draw, all you have to just click on it, and it allows them to draw on it. It could always erase it, and they could write text on it. Um, for our second activity today, the way we used it is we had to label the text features on it. So some students prefer this to anything else, and then they labeled the title. And all I have to do is click it, and then I can add more labels to it. They moved them around. They're able to manipulate it. Uh, they really like using Seesaw with it. And if you have students who like to be more creative and like to draw on there, that is perfectly fine too, because that allows them to be creative. A lot of mine put the line to the side and wrote drawing. Like I said, there's some kids who have those fine motor skills down and some kids who don't. So it's very easy to differentiate here. You can allow them to use the text, or you can allow them to draw, or you could always record and they could just talk about it. They don't actually have to draw or do anything on there if they don't want to, or if they can't, if they don't have the ability to. Okay. And then to go ahead and submit, they click the green check and green check again, and then they have to choose who they are. So they pick their name. Like if it was cat and dog working on this, then they click their names, and then they click check mark, and it uploads to our journal. And from here, only you have the ability to see this. Like you can see this, and the students can see it after you've shared it. Because it says waiting for teacher approval. Once the teacher approves it, everybody in the class can see it, and it's in the teacher journal, and in the class journal, I'm sorry, and everybody can see it from there. Um, the second thing that I like to do to differentiate instruction through Seesaw is go do the drawing. When they have to tell me um, what something is, um, they can use the drawing feature instead of having to actually draw it on paper or anything like that. They could use technology instead of doing that. Or if they have like a Venn diagram, it's easier to, it's very easy for them to draw it on there and to fill it in. This is one of my students love doing the Venn diagrams on here, and then they use the text to write on there. Um, like Cinderella. And see, and then they're able to manipulate, move it over there. And then the other one would be, let's see, they're able to manipulate. And then once they have it labeled, they could either handwrite on it or they can draw on it, and they can say, uh, princess. It's just a girl. Okay. And it could go on and on from there, and they can either, like I said, you can differentiate for them. They can have it do it on the text. They can have it do it on the with just the pure drawing, and the kids will on their own start to differentiate what makes it easier for them. You just have to show them one time. Technology is so easy for our children that we sometimes forget that it is easy for them and that it's not that hard for them. Um, I'm going to go ahead and give you a few minutes, see if you have any questions. And before I show you our last, well, I was just gonna show you 3, but they have many more, but the last one that I'm gonna show you today of how to differentiate instruction through, Seesaw. Okay, seeing as there are no questions coming up yet, I'm gonna go ahead and submit it. And again, you could always record. You could always have the kids explain their thinking to you as an extension. Um, you always we always think about differentiation as our more needy children, but our gifted learners and our higher learners need differentiation too. After having completed this, you can have your gifted learners click on the record and have them give you a verbal explanation as to why they chose the things that they chose or what their thought process was doing this. I did this because. Um, I believe Cinderella is this because the text evidence shows this. You can always have it be more difficult, or you could always make it easier for your children. You could already have this part on there, and then you just have them tell you Goldilocks is this, Goldilocks is that, Cinderella is this, Cinderella is that, instead of actually having them write. Um, there are a plethora of ways to do this, and you just got to play with it and see what works for you and your class and your students. And every time you do a different activity, it might be a different way, um, because our kids may need it a different way. You go ahead and submit it as Spot and Bond, or you can just submit it as one. Spot did it by himself. And so it's just waiting for teacher approval. And it only lets them see what they have submitted. It won't let Spot see what Cat and Dog submitted because I have not approved it as a teacher. Unless I approve it as a teacher, then they cannot see what someone else did. Once I approve it as a teacher, then they're able to see what other children have done. And that's good for them. Sometimes they need an example of what other kids did for them to be able to come up with their own what to do. Um, and then I'm going to show you the last one that we have for today, and that's going to be our video. Um, a lot of times we think about the video and we're like, oh my gosh, the kids are recording themselves. What are they going to do? So you can flip the camera and they can talk like I'm talking right now to you. And they can go ahead and explain and give an explanation, oral explanation of what they're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and do a quick video. Yes. And then from here, they could either do fluency, because I'm in the lower grade, so we work a lot with fluency and with stations and that kind of thing. Um, and I'm just going to read a piece of this. El cuartel de los bomberos es el lugar de trabajo de los bomberos. Al combatir los incendios, los bomberos mantienen a los vecinos a salvo. And then they click pause. Then they put the green arrow. And then they get to look at themselves. And I like this feature a lot because a lot of times they do not submit their first video. Kids like to that are perfectionists, just like us. And they like to look at themselves. And once they see themselves, they may even laugh, think it's funny at first, but then they'll take that time to really work on it and see, oh, my parents are going to see this, my teacher's going to see this. It may not be what it should be. So they get to go ahead and change it and edit it. Um, they could just click on the X to delete it, delete and start over. Or if they like it and they're ready to submit it, they click on the X and they click on their name or multiple names again. The items prepared. It always takes a little bit longer with videos to upload. And sometimes, our internet connection isn't as awesome as it could be. So it shows it there. Just tell the kids to be patient. Sometimes they won't load the first time and just tell them, go ahead and click it again until it loads. And I have them click it over and over and over again until it loads. And eventually it will load. Um, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to approve them on Seesaw. Okay, so I'm back to my Seesaw page. And when I click on class journal, I don't have anything yet, but I'm going to have right here, down here, you see how it shows it in red? I have 3 unapproved posts. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to show me all the posts. And here's where you could work on digital citizenship and your digital skills with your children, with your students. It's important for them to learn what can go on the internet and what cannot go on the internet, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate, and how much they can do with each other. I'm going to approve it, or you can not, or you can delete it. It's all up to you. It's up to the teacher whether it's approved or not. Approved. I feel like that video could have been better, so I'm not going to approve Bond's video. Then once all my unapproved things are done, it says nothing. So you can go to the class journal and we can look at it. And then from there, your students could also see it. Now, when I go to the journal on the iPad, look at class journal, I can already see it on the app that they're there. And I can see my other classmates' work. And so I can look at their work and be like, oh, okay, maybe that's why she didn't approve mine. It needed this. It needed something else. Okay, now I know how to make mine better and I can improve it like this. And that gives children such an empowerment when they're in charge of their learning and they get to see it on there and they get to see it approved. Um, it gives them a rush to be able to do something with technology. They love being able to do anything and everything with technology. Um, our time is almost up. So before I go to questions, I'm going to go ahead and give you my Twitter handle. And I'm just going to open a Word document and give you my Twitter handle. My Twitter handle is at Mrs._Cazares. Oops, it's all together. That is my Twitter handle. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I try to post things about technology and technology integration and my students. I post a lot of things. Um, so if you want to follow, you're more than welcome to. Uh, Please, at this time, if you have any questions, let us know. We're here to help you make your instruction and help you with your differentiation um, get better. So I'm going to stop my screen sharing at this time and wait to see if anybody has any questions on any part of it. And I could always help you with whatever you need. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up since I see that there are no questions. I showed you just a few ways to differentiate instruction using Seesaw. There are so many more ways to use Seesaw with your students. I just wanted to give you something simple and easy that you could start using with your students tomorrow. It is not something that you have pre-done or prep work with. It's something you could just pick up and go. There are different ways that do require more prep work. Um, and maybe later on we will give one. We have put the link on the side for the CPE credit. So please don't forget to click on the link and go there for your CPE credit. Thank you so much for watching us, and we're going to stay on just a few minutes extra, but our webinar is finished. If you have any questions, we will leave the webinar on. Thank you.